Hey everyone, Brian and Jeff with WorkshopAddict.com, and we're going to take a look at Ridgid's new MegaMax system. Very similar to their JobMax system. This includes an SDS drill, which is an SDS Plus 1 1/8", a recip saw, and a right angle drill, 1/2-inch chuck.
Which, yes, you made mention of the JobMax. They're just quite a bit bigger.
Significantly larger. And one of the reasons that we wanted to look at this is why. Why is somebody going to buy a power base and then a bunch of different heads? What's the system behind it? Because currently none of this is sold as a kit. You're going to buy everything separate. Pricing on this is $99 for the power base, $119 for the SDS, $99 for the right angle drill, $69 for the recip saw.
No battery.
No battery. That's ish $400.
Yeah.
Rough math, right? We looked at it and said, okay, if we were going to buy normal Ridgid tools, what can we get?
This guy's not offered, so we're going to take him right out of the equation.
To a point, yeah. The recip saw, the Octane model was $149.
Yes, bare tool.
And then they made a SDS Plus, which is only 7/8 inch, but that was $249.
Bare tool. So right there, you're at the same money.
Right.
But
so,
you don't have this.
So if you buy all of them, like, you do get that plus. But when you buy one tool that does everything, it does everything, but does it do everything great?
With its size, you're gaining a little bit of weight.
Significant amount of weight. And that's where we wanted to start, right? We said, look, we're going to put this recip saw up against recip saw. They should be the same. Flat out, right out of the box, you can tell that the difference in the girth.
Well, at your coupling point,
it's wide.
It's a lot wider.
So it doesn't affect the grip as much because as it goes down, the barrel in front gets a little narrower, but it is significantly heavier and it's noticeable, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's, when you're running a recip saw, you're getting all the vibration of it anyways.
You wouldn't want to run this one overhead. I mean, it's enough weight.
But there again, you can position your power unit or your base 4 different ways to offset the head.
It really only makes a difference in 2 because I guess the reality is you can turn your blade upside down here.
True.
So you can turn it sideways. Big deal. Overhead, it's
still overhead.
It's still noticeable difference in weight. So there's a weight difference. Performance-wise, we started out when we started going through some tubular steel. I mean, flat out,
it lagged behind slightly.
The new Ridgid Octane M18 recip saw won every time. We switched around, did our thing. We moved on then to orbital mode because we thought, well, let's just try out orbital mode. We have the same blades in here. Again, at least twice in this case.
It was slightly behind.
Not a big deal. As we switched and I got closer to a knot, the Ridgid MegaMax did win a couple times there. Mm-hmm. And it could be a 50-50 in wood. Either way, I think you do lose a little bit of performance on the recip saw. We really have nothing to compare to from Ridgid on the other side. We moved over to the SDS drill and started drilling with that. To me, standing on the back, looking at it, it looked like the drill spun a lot faster than what most normal SDS drills would.
You've got more experience running the SDS to make that comparison.
It felt like it, it looked like it, it just seemed like there was a lot more spinning going on than hammering. So to test that out, we moved over to the chisel, started chiseling a little bit, and then we brought in a Milwaukee 1-inch, which is smaller than this chisel. And just to give a comparison, because just like wood, concrete's different. What we're using, everything is different. It might drill horrible, it might drill great. Milwaukee, what do you think?
I think the Milwaukee had slightly more performance than the Ridgid did.
And there's a huge weight difference there.
Yes.
That Milwaukee is light as a feather compared to this. And I'm not saying this is bad, but I mean, this is the reality of things, right? So then we moved into just a normal SDS what was a 3/4 inch bit, which is probably getting close to the max you would want to run with the 1/8" SDS drill. That thing seemed to do pretty fair, although it was spinning quite fast, but it did well.
It drilled fairly quick.
So either way, I guess the SDS portion of this, if you're in the Ridgid battery portion and you want a larger SDS drill and you're going to do a D handle on the back, this worked well. I mean, it worked good. It's not the best performer out there, but for what you have, I think it's quite well.
And for the dollar value of what you're getting,
if you're going to buy this power head, the SDS Plus front portion is probably the cheapest add-on that you're going to get in a rotary hammer mode.
exactly.
Now, when you're using the SDS drill, at this point in time anyway, this is the only tool when in chisel mode that it will allow you to use this multi-function button in the back and lock it on, which is a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think the drill feature or the recip feature, you'd be able to lock it on, but
They don't want you to. I guess it's a safety thing. So the button in back, this multi-function button it's meant to be out of the way, but it's a little difficult to push the button.
Yes.
You almost have to put the chisel on, use your second hand, push the button, then let go of the trigger, and then start going. But it works well. This tool knows what power head is on here, and it knows what position you have it in, because as soon as you move it away from the chisel, your light on the lock-on goes off. So there is no chance, unless you get some electronic gremlin in there, that you're going to allow it to lock on, right? I wish they would make that optional, because I agree. Sometimes a recip saw, having it locked on would be awesome.
yeah.
Then, the right angle drill. I mean, we got to push this stuff, right?
I think this performed really well.
It has the pommel on the top. It's got a long side handle on it. And the one thing that was a little weird is maybe the placement. It's actually nice storage of the chuck key. It's just a little, it's funky. It works well, but it's just different how it's stored in there. I think it's a great way of putting it together. You're not going to lose it in there.
No.
You'll see it. But we put a 3 5/8 inch self-feeding core. It's not core bit. What would you call it?
Not a hole saw, speed bore.
Yeah, it's a boring bit. So it's pushing this. There's no high and low on this. It's just what it is. And we were able to go right through some 2x material without issue. I mean, it just cranked through.
More than impressed with that one. And like I said, this is the only way you can get this right now is through the power head unit.
And I could see where this one would be very comfortable to move it around in different places. So you could actually turn the handle and get into tighter places and be comfortable and use it without endangering yourself. That would be a good safety portion on that one. Realistically, if you're into this market and you're looking at this stuff, you're going to be into a Ridgid battery and you're going to be wanting to use this, all this stuff, some of the time. Probably not all this stuff all the time.
And space saving, it's not going to take up as much room either when you're only getting that much.
You're right, but I think I go back to this guy, which I think this unit alone right here weighs just less than the full recip saw.
True. But that coupling system,
There's a lot of aluminum there.
in order to make it reliable, you got to beef it up.
So size-wise, again, we're going back to weight. I don't know if weight is a big factor here, but that's when I go back to multi-tools. If you're going to be using a recip saw all day long, you're going to buy the biggest, baddest recip saw that's lightweight, that does everything good, has it, and you're not going to mess with this, right?
Exactly.
If you're going to be doing a right angle drill all day long,
And you don't need
the rest of it. That's a tough one. You know, this is heavy. I'll give you that, but it did work well. But it would be nice to have 2 speeds
Yeah.
or a clutch, one or the other. You know, something for safety. But this thing, it worked well. The SDS portion of this, I think that's a great add-on because a lot of contractors, first off, are going to use these two quite a bit. The SDS portion, once in a great while.
But for that price, it's handy to have.
Homeowners, I can see homeowners all day long. You can now get a nice right-handed or right-angle drill, golden. May not use it that much. You want a good kick butt recep, but don't care about the weight, awesome. If you ever need an SDS drill, go buy it. Doesn't cost you that much.
Like we said, the price of all this right here is the same price as 2 tools.
Right. So on this power head, you have an LED display on the top. So when you hook up any of the heads to it, it tells you that it's ready with a green light, and your lock on light will either light up or not if you can lock it on. And then there's a safety light behind it that if you do something wrong, it will tell you. So there's a lot of different things that it can tell you here between flashing lights, green lights, orange lights, or red lights. So check out the manual on that if you run into any issues, but realistically it's self-explanatory other than when you get into the safety side, which we didn't run across at all. This guy does like batteries.
Depending on what material we were working with, yes.
The recip saw, we chewed up a half battery just testing the metal and the wood.
And that was 3/16, 2.5 square tubing.
So we were cutting, but
Yeah.
either way, and it really wasn't that far off from the other recip saw. It was down 1 bar on the main recip saw, down 2 bars on this one. Either way, the tool didn't seem to heat up, but the batteries got kind of warm, and we're using the 6 amp hour. So you can go up currently to the 9 amp hour. It'd probably give you a little bit more power. Would you buy it?
If I needed these 3, yeah, I would.
And it's for a guy like me who doesn't use a recip saw daily.
I mean,
Hates
for
the
your
SDS
normal
drill.
consumer,
Yeah.
exactly. How many homeowners have an SDS drill?
Yeah, I don't think
But this kind of makes it affordable.
it gets you into the ballpark. You know, if you needed to drill down your basketball hoop to put it in, you want to screw your lift to the floor,
Right.
you are able to with $100.
Right.
I guess you could probably go corded at that point and go down to a cheaper model, but you might not be getting all that quality that you are with this unit. And of course, Ridgid has their lifetime service agreement if you buy this at Home Depot and if you jump through their hoops to make sure that you get them all set, right?
Which the hoop that you can use to anchor down, right?
Yeah, exactly it. So if you're looking at this system, we've seen a lot of stuff out there of, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And we're not saying that it's not, but we want to come out and give you guys, the real opinion of how we feel about it, how we tested it against others, and show you this right angle drill does have some power. And we wanted to get out something big to go through, and I think that 3 5/8 inch bore bit really kind of showed that can do some damage.
It takes some power.
Yeah, it's not the fastest thing. It's kind of like running these on low range, but cool little system. If you're in the market for it, they are available now at the Home Depot. Again, for the LSA, I would only buy it at Home Depot. With that said, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. We appreciate that. Watch out for a bunch of tool giveaways that we have going. Maybe we'll do this one coming up, not the next one, but the one after. That would be a good giveaway. So check that out. Make sure you subscribe so you get notices of that. Get the notification button going. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a great day.